7 spine-chilling hotel horror stories. Discover what Sinister checked in that wasn't human. Sarah gripped the steering wheel tighter as she drove toward Whispering Pines Hotel, a shadowy relic in the corner of her mind. The faded road signs promised a getaway, a much-needed escape for her and her children, Luke and Mia. But the truth was richer than the paint peeling off the hotel's facade. The hotel loomed ahead, a specter in the night, its flickering lights casting an eerie glow that made her shiver. Whispers told of too many secrets, mysteries that wrapped around its history like ivy choking a crumbling wall. Rubbing her temples, Sarah forced a smile for her kids. They deserved a normal vacation, even if she felt the pulse of fear in her chest. Checking in felt surreal, especially when Mr. Cartwright greeted them with an unnaturally wide grin. His polished suit clashed with the hotel's grim features, creating a startling contrast that made Sarah's skin crawl. "Welcome! We're thrilled to have you," he beamed, though there was a chill in his voice. Pushing her discomfort aside, Sarah led Luke and Mia through the twisting hallways, where shadows seemed to curl like fingers lurking just out of sight. "Look, Mom!" Luke shouted, pointing down a dark corridor. The sound echoed, a hollow reminder of isolation. "Can we go explore?" Sarah hesitated but nodded, chuckling lightly to mask her worries. Curiosity danced on her children's faces, yet she couldn't ignore the unsettling feeling that hung thick in the air. As they delved deeper, the walls seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting with her anxiety. A sudden rustle made her jump, the first sinister element that sent shivers down her spine. "It's just the wind," she whispered, trying to stave off the anxiety gripping her heart. The whispers followed them, soft yet sharp, like lost souls crying out in sorrow. The water pipes groaned and the lights flickered, but seemed to pulse with an ominous rhythm that echoed her dread. Suddenly, she tried to call the front desk, but the line was dead. Panic clawed at her throat. She wrestled with the sinking weight of isolation. Just as night blanketed the sky, tension thickened inside her like smoke. Luke wandered past the invitation of a shadowy corner, while Mia, suddenly quiet, slipped away too. Sarah's heart dropped. "Mia! Luke!" she cried, her voice cracking. With every second that slipped by, her breath came quicker. Desperation surged through her as she stormed past doors, each creak a reminder of something lurking just behind. In a dusty room, she stumbled upon an old ledger. Sweat slicked her palms. Names formed entries, lined with unchanging words of despair. Each termination a sorrowful echo, a tidy pattern of disappearances, each linked to Mr. Cartwright himself. The revelation paralyzed her. "I need to find my kids," she shouted, turning on her heel to confront Cartwright standing menacingly at the entrance. His smile transformed into something twisted. "You should leave this place," he warned, but the urgency turned her stomach. "Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system, and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." With adrenaline blaring through her veins, she dashed down the halls, shadowy figures at the edge of her vision. The whispering escalated, intensifying her sense of dread. "Mia? Luke?" Panic clawed at her throat. Just ahead, she heard their voices, calling from the very darkness that threatened to swallow everything. But something in their tones felt wrong, fractured and distorted. The dread slashed through her like ice. What if? As she took a trembling step toward the whispers, doubt flooded her mind. What if her children had checked into a reality with no exit? The thought froze her heart, and dread whispered back from the shadows. "Mom!" The voice echoed from a room just beyond the dim corridor, the sound fragile and drenched in an unsettling pitch. Sarah pushed herself forward, propelled by the primal fear that had her heart racing in her chest. "Mia? Luke?" The hallway stretched endlessly, darkness curling around the corners like hungry smoke. A photograph hung crookedly on the wall, an image of what seemed to be a family, a visage of bliss that now felt sickly. Their smiles felt wrong now, almost as if they knew secrets better left buried. "Mia!" She tried to call again, her voice barely breaking above the hushed murmurs that seemed to rise and undulate like a tide against her. Every step felt like a stab of terror, grounding deeper into her core. She forced herself to breathe, but her lungs felt constricted, shadows brushing against her with each labored inhale. The door to a nearby room was ajar, a sliver of dying light spilling into the hallway. Sarah hesitated, a war between curiosity and dread raging inside her. What if they were in there? What if something else lurked? Her instincts screamed at her to flee, but the mother in her drove her forward. Pushing the door open, it creaked, a grating sound that felt like nails on a chalkboard. The room was oddly pristine, a stark contrast to the weariness that clung to the hotel. It was deliberately untouched, the bed made with crisp white sheets and a mirror with an ominous reflection of the darkened hallway behind her. "Mia? Luke?" Her voice trembled, whispering across the empty space. No reply came, just the muted sound of a distant clock ticking, or was it counting down? The air thickened around her, saturated with a palpable unease. Suddenly she caught something glinting.
The bathroom, a warped light that beckoned. Cautiously she approached, her breath hitching with each creak of the floor beneath her feet. The doorknob turned easily, though the scent of decay wafted out, sending a surge of nausea into her gut. Inside, the tub was filled, water stained dark, glinting like spilled ink. But what set her heart racing was the reflection that stared back from the surface. It wasn't hers. Wide, hollow eyes appeared, a visage twisted with despair, and a mouth that whispered her name. The voice sounded so familiar yet alien, mirroring her own terrified thoughts. "Leave now." Something cold pressed against her back, and she whirled around to find Mr. Cartwright standing there, his demeanor transformed into a nightmarish figure. His wide grin split his face, but his eyes were void, as if plunging into a black abyss. "They've been waiting for you, Sarah," he whispered, voice dripping like poison. "You can't let them go." Every instinct screamed at her to turn and run, but something anchored her in that moment, festering like a wound. "What have you done?" The question escaped her lips before she could choke it back. "Only what is necessary for the hotel," he replied, each word punctuated as if they were shrouded in an ancient chant. "Once there, they never truly leave." Her heart thudded painfully in her chest. "You're lying!" But Sarah could feel reality slipping as she gazed into those empty eyes, a truth she couldn't bear. She clenched her fists, the fight fueling her desperation. Then came the sound again. "Mom, help!" But it was different now, more entangled with confusion, a sickly echo reverberating through her very soul. With a burst of energy, Sarah spun back toward the hallway, her instincts demanding she get her children out of this nightmare. But the shadows shifted, darkening around her, whispering secrets she couldn't decipher. And for a moment, she felt paralyzed. A flicker of movement caught her eye. A fleeting shadow dashed across her vision toward the stairs, and with renewed fear fueling her, she plunged forward, desperate to chase the silhouette that could be her children, or something else entirely. Panic pushed her faster, and as she reached the stairwell, the air turned electric, heavy, and tainted with deceit. The whispers intensified, spiraling madness in their wake. As she descended, the lights flickered again, and everything around her felt like it was waning, a heartbeat away from unraveling. Sarah knew she was facing a choice: escape or embrace. But as she raced down, something dark followed, a presence clawing at her sanity. When she reached the bottom, that dread flickered in front of her, waiting, watching. Where are Mia and Luke? What twisted game was Cartwright playing? Each step felt like standing on the edge of terror, and in that moment, Sarah realized one truth. She may have stumbled into the web of something far worse than she had ever imagined. Could she save them before it was too late? Would she ever find them? Or would she too fall into the unyielding void of the Whispering Pines? As Sarah stumbled down the stairs, the darkness at her back pulsated with a life of its own, taunting her with every creak and groan of the aging structure. The whispers rose and fell, a chaotic symphony that gnawed at her mind. Every instinct screamed for her to run, but the thought of her children back there, in that room, rendered her feet like lead. She reached the bottom landing and skidded to a stop, heart pounding so hard she wondered if it would burst from her chest. The lobby lay before her, bathed in an unsettling dim light that flickered like it was struggling against an unseen force. And there, in the center, was a figure hunched over, seemingly examining the carpet. "Luke! Mia!" she cried, voice thick with desperation. The figure turned, the glimmer of light illuminating the familiar face that twisted her gut cold. It was Luke, but his expression was vacant, devoid of emotion. The hollow stare sent a tremor through her. "Mom," he said, his voice a detached murmur, "you shouldn't have come back." Fear curdled her stomach. "Where's Mia? What's going on?" "Don't let her in," he warned, eyes darting to the shifting shadows in the corners of the room. "They'll take you too." Suddenly, the lights above flickered violently, as if the hotel itself were shaking with rage. Sarah felt a chill crawl across her skin. A dreadful understanding flooded her senses. "What are you talking about?" The weight of her son's words sunk deep, but she couldn't afford to lose him, not now. Without warning, a door slammed shut at the end of the hall, and Sarah's heart raced. Time was slipping away. "Where is Mia?" she shouted, voice cracking. But her son froze and took a step back, mouth agape, as if he wanted to scream but couldn't. A presence loomed behind him, dark and shifting, curling out of the corners like smoke around a flame. Sarah instinctively reached out, but Luke recoiled. The shadows wove together, forming an almost humanoid shape, its features indistinguishable yet profoundly terrifying. It seemed to swell and pulse, alive with a rhythm that was both alien and inherently wrong. "Mom!" Luke finally screamed, and then rushed toward her, eyes wide with terror. "Run!" But Sarah grasped his arm, her grip firm. "We need to get out of here, now!" Before they could move, the creature, the essence of the hotel, cut off their escape, casting a net of darkness that rippled through the room. It whispered their fears and regrets, forging a cacophony of haunting images in her mind. Moments of laughter lost, a fleeting embrace with Mia, shattered memories. For a heartbeat, she felt herself slipping into despair. And then a flicker of resilience ignited. She stared deep into the abyss of darkness, chest heaving. "You will not take my family!" Luke squeezed her hand, his fear intermingling with a strange resolve.
In that moment, they became a unit, a singular force against the encroaching terror. With a burst of adrenaline, they bolted toward the entrance, dodging shadows that reached for them like grasping fingers. But just as they neared the threshold, a figure appeared, blocking their way. Mia stood there, disheveled, eyes wide and wild, as if she had returned from a place far worse than any hotel room. "Mom!" she yelled, voice piercing through the air, a lifeline in the storm. "Mia!" Sarah cried, but before she could reach her daughter, the creature roared, a sound that filled the space with dread, shaking the very walls. Shadows clawed at the ground, hungry for them. "Run! To me!" Mia shouted, frantically beckoning them with trembling hands. As Sarah tightened her grip on Luke, she hesitated, caught in the battle between fear and hope. She wanted to trust this moment, to believe in the safety of their connection, but the shadows whispered once more, taunting her to let them go. Could she fight the darkness and rescue them both? The feeling of despair crushed her spirit as the shadows coiled tighter around the entrance, ready to snuff out their last chance. "Mom, please!" Luke's voice pulled her from her paralyzing thoughts. "They're coming for you! Move!" With everything on the line, Sarah hurtled toward her daughter, a desperate leap into the unknown. The darkness lunged, and then something in her broke. She could not choose between her children. Trapped within the hotel's grip, the walls surged, closing in, and the shadows roared with malevolent glee. What would it take to break free? Would this choice shatter their world or unite them? As she reached for Mia in the consuming blackness, Sarah realized the question remained. Did the hotel break families apart? Or could some connections withstand hell itself? The darkness surged forward, swallowing Sarah whole. It felt alive, a blanket of frost wrapped around her limbs. She blinked, trying to clear her vision, but all she saw were swirling shadows, the air thick with a suffocating haze. "Mia! Luke!" she screamed, her voice trembling as she flailed against the oppressive blackness. Then she felt something, small hands gripping her own, pulling her towards a flicker of light. She squinted, seeing the familiar features of Luke's face warped with fear. Beside him, Mia's wide eyes shone like stars against the void. "Mom, we have to go, now!" Mia urged, tugging at her to follow. But Sarah hesitated, the shadows curling around her like a lover's embrace, whispering sweet temptations of surrender. "They want us to give in," Luke gasped, looking around as the whispers morphed into mocking laughter. "Don't listen to them, please!" The shadows pulsed, and a chilling thought gripped her heart. How long could they resist? "Mia, I'm so scared," Sarah admitted, the truth spilling from her lips, the fear floodgates breaking open. "I know, Mom, but if we stay here, they'll—"
"Take us for favor," Mia replied, her voice steadying Sarah's heart, a beacon in that interminable night. With renewed determination, Sarah squeezed their hands tighter, pulling them closer together. "We have to find a way out. We can't let the darkness win." They ran, hearts pounding in sync as they burst through the murky shadows. Each step echoed in the lobby, the whispers growing desperate, urging them back into the comforting embrace of despair. But Sarah pushed forward, her thoughts focused on the light at the end of the hall, a glow that promised safety. Suddenly, the encounter froze them in their tracks. A figure stood there, tall, looming. It blurred the line between human and beast, obscured by the flickering lights. Its face, a grotesque swirl of shifting features, pulsed with an otherworldly glow, eyes glinting with hunger. "Leaving so soon?" it taunted, voice slick and dripping with malice. "I have more for you, lovely family." "No!" Sarah shouted, pushing the children behind her, the heat of protectiveness igniting within. "We don't want anything from you." The creature laughed, a sound that echoed ricocheted through the hall, reverberating off the walls like a war drum. "Oh, but your thoughts, your fears, they tell an entirely different story." With a surge of overwhelming dread, Sarah felt memories rushing back. Her past, her fears, the drowning weight of her insecurities. Glimpses of her life splashed across the void. The time she left her kids with a sitter at a party. The arguments over petty things. The quiet moments when she questioned if she was good enough. Each shadow carried a fragment of her guilt, wrapping tighter around her as the creature festered on the pain. "Mia, Luke, stay close," she shouted, forcing the weight of guilt to the back of her mind, refusing the poison of doubt. But the creature advanced, weaving through the light, arms stretching like grotesque silhouettes. The shadows danced and reached, grasping for them with fingers like shards of night, desperate to pull them into the oblivion. "Run!" Sarah shouted, instinctively grabbing Mia with her right hand, Luke with her left, and sprinting toward the flickering light. Together they surged forward, but just as they neared the exit, the creature unleashed a deafening roar. The force shook the ground beneath them, and the light flickered out, plunging everything back into darkness. Then, a horrible realization struck Sarah. The light didn't exist outside. It was just another illusion, a final spear in the creature's arsenal to lure them back. With nowhere left to run, they stumbled, yanked back by the tide of shadows now rushing to envelop them again. "Mom!" Luke cried, the panic rising in his voice as they were dragged apart by the sheer force of the darkness. "No!" Sarah screamed, desperate to hold the pieces of her family together. As the shadows clawed at her, tugging her away from her children, she fought with every ounce of strength. "Stay with me!" But the walls were closing in. She could feel the cold tendrils wrapping around her throat, slowly squeezing the breaths from her lungs. And when she closed her eyes, all she saw were visions of her children disappearing into the gaping maw of the creature, their cries echoing in her heart. Would the darkness rip them apart, or would united strength shatter its grip? In that moment of frozen despair, a revelation hit her. To break free, they must confront the very fears the hotel thrived upon. Would they have the courage to face the truth hiding in the dark? It felt like an eternity, lost in shadows, but Sarah's mind raced. Every heartbeat clawed at her sanity, every breath became a battle. She had to fight back. The weight of guilt and despair threatened to overwhelm her, but there was something in her that refused to surrender. "Together!" she shouted, shaking off the icy grip of despair. "We have to face this thing as a family!" Mia and Luke, still clutched tightly in her hands, nodded, their faces determined, but their eyes glazed with fear. She could feel the pull of the darkness, but now it sparked something else too: defiance. The grotesque figure loomed closer, its laughter like nails scraping against metal. "Oh, you think you can resist? Your unity means nothing here. Your fears feed my power." "Shut up!" Mia shouted. The girl's voice cracked but held a strength that surprised even Sarah. "You don't scare us. You're just a bunch of lies." "Lies?" The creature paused, its shape flickering. "Your greatest fears are not lies. They are truths. Truths you must confront." The light they thought they had seen flickered back, faint and shivering like a lost candle. Sarah felt a surge of hope, but it was quickly swallowed by a deeper dread. "Mom, the shadows, look!" Luke cried, his fingers trembling as he pointed. Sarah followed his gaze. The shadows morphed and twisted, revealing glimpses of her past, nightmares brought to life. She saw herself arguing with her husband over bills, the weight of another sleepless night with a crying baby. Images of her failures cataloged on the walls of the hotel, casting long, dark reflections. "No!" she yelled, pushing against it all. "But it felt so real. This isn't us." "Yes, it is," the creature bellowed, eyes gleaming with sickening delight. "You can't escape who you are." Mia stepped forward, her small frame seeming to grow with every inhaled breath. "We're more than our fears. We're a family, and we love each other. You can't take that away." Sarah's heart raced. If confronting their fears was the way out, they needed to face what the hotel had thrown at them.
What do we do? She whispered, panic threatening to seep back in. Focus, Luke said. We need to think of something we shared, something good. The shadows writhed, becoming agitated, but Sarah latched on to the warmth of the memory. A picnic on a sun-soaked lawn, laughter ringing like music, days where love drowned out the chaos.
Remember the picnic by the lake? She breathed. The happy times? Yes, Mia cried. There was cake and that silly bird that stole our chips. With shared laughter ringing in her ears, Sarah felt their bond grow stronger, a powerful answer to the darkness surrounding them. The shadows twisted in anger, but they pushed back their own fears. Together, they shouted, weaving their memories into a defense against the oncoming tide of despair. The creature's guise changed, stark terror painted across its features. "You cannot," it roared, but the laughter of the family drowned it out, echoing louder than the creature could scream. The shadows bucked and twisted, and as they did, light broke through, pulling the children and Sarah closer together. With one final cry of defiance, they focused on the joy, amplifying the laughter until the shadows began to fracture, splintering as light poured in from all directions. But just as the tendrils of darkness released their grip, Sarah felt cold fingers brush against her neck, and she froze. What if this isn't over? What if the hotel has more waiting for us? Her heart sank. Would they be truly free, or was this just the beginning of something worse? You can't escape the game they're playing, because they always want more. The light enveloped them, the sensation echoing sweet relief. Or was it a trap? As the darkness shimmered, half-formed whispers flaked off to reveal a path behind them, a whisper of old walls and echoing laughter. Did they dare step into whatever lay ahead? What truths were waiting to ensnare them next? They hesitated at the threshold. The path ahead creaked ominously, old floorboards groaning under the weight of secrets long buried. Sarah shivered, the light flickering around her like the heartbeat of a living thing, pulsing with an untrustworthy rhythm. Could they really face whatever horrors were still lurking in the shadows? "Are you ready?" she whispered, uncertainty creeping into her voice. Mia squeezed her hand tighter, her small fingers trembling but firm. "We have to go. We can't stay here." But Luke, eyes wide, backed up a step. What if they come back? What if we let them out? "Trust in each other," Sarah pleaded, fighting the rising tide of panic. "That's what we did before. We can do it again." As the three of them exchanged determined glances, the shadows flickered, almost playfully, as if fully aware of their deliberations. The cold air felt alive, curling around them, softly, teasing. Whatever lay ahead was crafty, and Sarah could feel the weight of its gaze, hungry and expectant. Just before they could step forward, a gust of wind blew through the corridor, extinguishing the fragile light that shielded them. Darkness rushed in, suffocating and thick as honey. Sarah could hear the unmistakable sound of claws scraping against the stone walls, a scratching rhythm infused with a sinister melody that made her skin crawl. "Stay close," she shouted, instinctively clasping her children's hands, pulling them into a tight formation. Her heart thundered in her ears, threatening to drown out the haunting echoes surrounding them. Then came the whispers, low, deep, slithering through the gaps in the shadows. Together, yet alone. "What does it want?" Luke whimpered, glancing around as if expecting something to leap out at him. "It wants us to break," Mia shouted defiantly, "but we won't." Suddenly, the darkness folded back, revealing an ancient doorway, ornate but crumbling, its handles fashioned from twisted iron and encrusted with rust. A sense of foreboding washed over them. "Is it safe?" Luke asked, his voice small. "This is our only option," Sarah replied. She pushed the door open, cringing at the creaking that echoed like a scream. The air inside was unusually still, thick with the scent of mildew and something far worse, decay.
They entered cautiously, the heavy silence pressing down. The room was dimly lit by a single bulb flickering weakly. Dust danced in the air, memories embedded in the fabric of the closed space. An office sat off to the side, papers strewn across the floor like remnants of a forgotten chaos. Mia stepped forward, gingerly examining the papers. "Look, these are names and dates." "Check for more," Sarah urged, her instincts screaming. As they sifted through the documents, Sarah's breath caught. Names of people, words scrolled in panic, descriptions of fears manifested. "This isn't just about us." "Mom," Luke said, eyes wide with apprehension. "What if we're not the first?" Suddenly, the room trembled. The lamp shattered, darkness ripping away the last vestige of light, leaving them in total blackness. The whispers swelled, echoing louder, frantic, like a wave crashing against a shore. Together, yet alone. Over the cacophony, a low growl resonated. It wasn't a sound of something nearing, it enveloped them. Sarah could feel the creature's breath against her neck, hot and fetid. "What is it?" Mia cried, panic tinged in her voice. "Face the truth," the darkness roared, and Sarah remembered the creature's words. The weight of memories pressed down on her like a brick wall. "Remember the picnic, remember why we fought," she urged, trying to plant her feet despite the overwhelming terror spiraling around them. Then, through the shadows, a flicker of light emerged from the old office, shimmering like the remnants of hope. But in front of it stood a figure, a silhouette carved from darkness, eyes burning like coals. "Do you dare confront the horror within?" Sarah's heart raced. Were they ready to unveil whatever lay dormant in their minds? Or would they be consumed by the shadows, just another set of names on a crumbled sheet of paper? The figure moved closer, and Sarah felt the icy fingers of fear wrap around her heart, holding her still. Would they find deliverance or be dragged deeper into the madness? They had to decide now, the darkness closing in around them, the choice between light and shadow beckoning them forward. The figure edged closer, its features obscured
by the heavy shroud, yet Sarah sensed a familiarity in its stance. A twisted urge to flee surged through her. Luke's little hand trembled in hers, while Mia clutched her tightly, eyes wide and raw with fear. "Answer me," the shadow hissed, its voice a raspy echo that pierced the silence. "Do you know your fears? Can you face them?" "What do you want from us?" Sarah shouted, fighting to keep her voice steady. She wouldn't show weakness, not now. The shadow paused, its burning eyes narrowing. "The past is never buried." Clutching Mia and Luke's hands tighter, she felt the air grow colder, wrapping around them like a serpent. Memories flooded her mind, images of long-suppressed events that clouded their family history. "Mom!" Luke squeaked, panic gripping his voice. "What is it talking about?" "I don't know," she stammered, her breath catching as flashes of forgotten nightmares clawed for her consciousness. "Together," the shadow sang, vibrant with sinister delight. "Yet alone." The darkness coiled around them, becoming more than just an absence of light. It was alive with malevolence. Each heartbeat mattered now. "We can't back down," Mia shouted, her voice surprisingly bold. Sarah admired her daughter's courage, but doubt gnawed at her. The office walls felt like they were closing in. "Quick, look for a way out," Sarah ordered, her voice cracking under the pressure. They had to find those names, the secrets bound within the documents. But as they surged into the fray of papers, the replies came back, names they recognized. The shadow seemed to glow brighter, feeding on their terror.
"It's you," Mia said suddenly, pointing a finger at the shadow. "You're the one who hurt us before." Sarah's pulse quickened. How could this entity know their pain? It felt wrong. She couldn't break apart in front of her kids. "No, this isn't happening." "Face the truth," the shadow crooned. And for a moment, it felt like the room shifted, shadows writhing with memories too elusive to be grasped. The floor began to rumble. Papers spiraled like leaves in a storm, swirling into a vortex of chaos. "Stand your ground," Sarah yelled, forcing herself and her children to stay together. What had her family endured in that past, and what price would they pay now? In a heartbeat, she found herself standing at the ends of a table, the edge of that family picnic that haunted her. She could almost see their laughter, hear the carefree echoes of that day. But it was a memory stained with darkness. The look in her husband's eyes had changed, and then everything had shattered. Mia's cry shattered the air. "Mom, it's coming!" The shadows lunged, claws reaching, claws grasping. The figure surged out with a sound like 1,000 whispers, enveloping them in its chilling embrace. "Together, yet alone," it breathed, and Sarah felt the fabric of reality rip apart. "Trust in each other," she screamed, squeezing her children's hands as shadows swirled, threatening to pull each one of them into black oblivion. Just as she thought they would be overwhelmed, something flickered. A memory sparked. "Mom, don't forget about whispers, remember?" Luke shouted suddenly, voice piercing through the grasp of despair. In that moment of clarity, Sarah thought of all the whispers they had fought against, the strength they found in each other, the bonds that could shatter darkness. And then an explosion of light erupted, bright enough to chase the shadows back, revealing bits of the past amidst the chaos. But the figure staggered back, eyes narrowing into icy slits. "You cannot escape yourselves." With that, a swirling darkness coalesced in one final desperate lunge, seeking to bind them in its eternal grasp. "Look out!" Mia screamed again as the shadows converged, a storm of chaos and confusion. And in that blinding instant, with one more shred of hope clinging to her heart, Sarah lunged for the light, a desperate chance for escape. Would they break free from the clutches of the past, or would the shadows reclaim them? Just then, a deep laughter echoed in the darkness, chilling their resolve with every mocking note. The light engulfed them, a glaring beacon slicing through the chaos. For a moment, Sarah felt a surge of warmth wash over her. But as quickly as it appeared, the light flickered and dimmed, swallowed by the dark whirlwind that threatened to enclose them again. "Mom!" Luke cried, his tiny voice cracking as he struggled to stand firm against the supernatural onslaught. Panic surged through Sarah. Each scream from her children felt like shards of glass cutting away at her composure. "Hold on! Just hold on!" she shouted, using every ounce of her strength to keep them together. But the shadows seemed to shriek with glee, inches from their faces, clawing, grasping, ready to snatch them away. And then came that laugh again, booming through the darkness, pulling at the edges of her sanity. It was a haunting sound, a mockery of their fear. "You think you can escape? You are mine forever." "Don't listen!" Mia yelled, her fear-drenched voice cutting through the haze. "Mom, find the whispers!" Sarah's heart raced as she recalled the notion of faces in the shadows, but this was different. This was not merely about connecting with their fears. It was about confronting something monstrous, something that knew both their history and pain. "Faster!" she screamed at herself. The edges of her vision dimmed as the shadows lunged, threatening to swallow her whole. She had to decipher the connection, break the cycle. "Together," she whispered, looking at her children, realizing that it was never just about escaping.
It had always been about confronting the shadows, confronting their past and the hidden secrets. Glimmers of memory danced in the gravity of the room. A summer day, laughter, the flicker of their smiles that had been washed away by tragedy. "Face them!" she shouted, the urgency snatching at the tendrils of despair wrapping around her heart. "Face what?" Luke trembled, but despite his fear, he stood
defiantly alongside Mia. They needed to understand, to remember whatever truth lay forgotten. "Fill the void with the truth," Sarah urged through gritted teeth. The shadows paused as if considering her words, their malevolent edges still swirling, hesitating like a predator before the kill. With every ounce of will, Sarah concentrated, dredging up the deepest memories, the time they'd lost everything and yet found moments to cling on to hope. "We buried so much, but we can't let it be lost anymore." In an instant, the shadows recoiled, as if her determination had struck them. They screamed and melted into a flood of whispers, desperate and anxious. "Remember the price of forgetting," they hissed. "Sarah!" Mia shouted, a tiny glimmer of realization seizing her mother. "The box! The one from the attic!" Time froze for a heartbeat. In their old home, nestled within forgotten things, lay a box filled with photographs, letters, and truths from a time they had tried to bury. "Let's go! We have to find it!" They made a dash for the doorway, the shadows swirling in pursuit. Each step felt like a race against time. They had to uncover what lay hidden. Their only chance lay within the truths they feared the most. But before they could reach the door, the figure emerged anew, transformed into a chilling visage of familiar faces shrouded in darkness, each one telling their story, each one wailing in sorrow. "Your happiness was never meant to last," it cried, an anguished face of their past. The ground shook as shadows entwined their ankles, drawing them down. Sarah screamed as Luke and Mia were pulled away, hazy tendrils grasping their arms, fingers like frost. "Mom!" they shouted, voices intertwined with fear. "No, I won't let you take them!" With every ounce of courage, she ripped the shadows from her children. The room echoed with the sound of tearing fabric as she pulled them close, but darkness enveloped them, threatening to suffocate their cries. As her fingers clawed at the tendrils, pulling, yanking, a pulse of memory surged. Images of forgotten moments, buried but not lost, came crashing into her mind. A family, a bond of love, buried beneath pain. And she felt it, the shift in the shadows, the reluctance, the fear of facing what had once been silenced. "Together!" she roared, clinging to Mia and Luke, drawing strength from their bond. "We are not alone!" A fracture rippled through the shadows, freezing them for just a heartbeat. But at that moment, a shift in the darkness made her blood run cold. Hands, bony, claw-like hands reached from the depths of that swirling void, with fingers stretching to grasp at the last remnants of her family's strength. "Face what's truly haunted you," it hissed, relentless and demanding, breaths heavy with dreadful anticipation. A choice loomed before her: dive into the ocean of their hidden grief or drown in the grasp of that sinister figure. As reality warped around them, Sarah clenched her fists, steeling herself for the ultimate battle against the darkness that draped her family. "Let's finish this," she breathed, knowing they were on the edge of truth or obliteration. And they stepped forward, plunging into the heart of their family's buried secrets, a tempest of terror and resolution waiting on the other side. Could they confront their past and reclaim their lives? Or would the shadows drag them back into the abyss, forever chained to forgotten agony? The shadows twisted and convulsed, their forms shifting like smoke in a gale. Sarah's heart pounded, a frantic drum in the symphony of chaos surrounding them. Luke and Mia, still clinging to her side, felt like fragile porcelain in a world of daggers. They found themselves standing at the precipice of something dark and vile, where the echoes of their past haunted them like a never-ending nightmare. This was not just a darkness. They understood now. It was alive, feeding off their fear, their regret, their unspoken sorrows. "Remember," the figure whispered, its voice curling like smoke around them, chilling their bones. "You must remember." "Remember what?" Mia yelled, her voice cracking under the weight of dread. "What else is there to lose?" The specter lurked closer, its face morphing into one of familiarity, a long-lost relative, an old friend. Each transformation cut deeper, revealing truths wrapped in shadows. Sarah felt bile rise in her throat. Memories she had long buried clawed up desperately, a tidal wave crashing against her resolve. "Let them go!" she shouted, but the shadows only writhed in response, latching on to the fragments of her children's hopes. They gripped her tighter, their wispy fingers insatiable, both taunting and imploring her. It was then she remembered the details, the whispers of those long gone, the pain of sorrowful moments. They had silenced those echoes, believing freedom came from burying the past. Each lost moment was like a wound festering in the dark, and now the darkness was demanding restitution. "Face it," she screamed, feeling the last thread of sanity unravel. "This is not just my fight." A tremor quaked through the shadows. Unseen voices rose around them, a chorus of faded lives long left unexamined. One by one they emerged, faces of torment and tragedy. "You cannot escape us," they cried, unearthing their stories, their tragedies. "Mom, I remember," Luke stammered, his small frame quaking but resolute. "That night, we were happy." "Yes," Mia chimed in, her face pale yet determined. "We were together. We had each other." With each shared memory, the shadows recoiled, their faces warping and distorting. They could feel the shadows losing some of their grip, as if Sarah's family was reclaiming what had been taken from them. The warmth of their bonds illuminated the darkness, fragile yet undeniable. "Keep going," Sarah urged, a fire igniting within her. "Don't let them drown you. Let our love be the light." The shadows shrieked in anguish, their howls reverberating through the room. "It won't save you," they screamed, growing more frantic. "The price of forgetting is steep." "There is no price we're not willing to pay." A surge of anger propelled Sarah forward as she grasped her children closer. "This ends now." As if fueled by their united strength, a flash of brilliance erupted from within them, illuminating the faces of pain and sorrow that had tormented them for so long. For every dark visage that emerged, they countered with a memory of laughter, joy, hope. But just as the tide began to turn, an unfathomable darkness rose in defiance. Like a serpent writhing in its lair, it lunged toward them. Sarah felt the ground beneath her shake, the very fabric of reality bending to the will of that ancient evil. "You can't fight the inevitable," it howled, its voice an unearthly echo. In that instant, the shadows surged, clawing towards her, a tidal wave of despair. Sarah's breath came hot and quick. She could feel crushing pressure closing around her throat, threatening to suffocate her. "We can't let them win," she gasped, arms wide, ready for the onslaught. The shadows encircled them, ominous and suffocating, reaching for the softest parts of their souls. "Mom!" they cried as the vile tendrils closed in, wrapping tighter, dragging them down. And then, just as Sarah felt her strength waning, she could dimly hear a different sound amidst the chaos. The sound of whispers rising against the tide. Memories they had never spoken. A crescendo of voices. "Remember us! Remember love!" Sarah's heart raced. What were they hiding? What else had they suppressed? "Together!" they shouted in unison one last time. But would it be enough? No. They needed one more push, one final memory to seal their fate against the darkness that threatened to consume them whole. As they plunged deeper into the heart of this battle, the shadows waited, patiently lurking. Every whisper held the key, But which memory could unlock the shattering truth that might save them? Just beyond the veil, wrapped in shadow, something stirred, a secret long buried, a scream locked away. What would they face? And could love really conquer the darkness waiting to crush them? The answer hung in the air, thick and charged, waiting to reveal what lay at the edge of reckoning. The shadows swirled, a tempest of darkness, threatening to snuff out the last flickers of hope in Sarah's heart. The pressure around her tightened, suffocating her resolve, as grotesque figures danced at the edges of her vision, whispering sweet nothings of despair. But deep within that darkness, the kaleidoscope of memories surged forth, demanding to be acknowledged. "We have to remember who we are," Sarah shouted, her voice echoing like thunder against the howling void. She squeezed Luke and Mia's hands tighter, feeling their warmth against the cold dread that sought to swallow them whole. "Mom!" Luke cried, fear twisting his voice. "What if this is all a nightmare?" "No!" Sarah cried back, the conviction in her words feral. "This is our chance to wake up, to face this fear together." Together. The word echoed through their hearts, refracting into the components that made their family radiant. Love, laughter, connection. They had a history rooted not just in grief, but in joy, in playful laughter at summer picnics and the tranquility of shared evenings watching the stars sparkle against the midnight sky. "Mia," Sarah said, turning to her daughter, "think of that time we made cookies and ended up covered in flour." "Yes," Mia shouted, determination igniting in her eyes. "And the bird that stole our chips. We can't forget how to have fun." Luke's expression flickered with recognition. "Remember the game nights? We were unbeatable." "Yes, we fought through it all and faced life together." Sarah roared into the depths of the darkness, memories of joy flickering like stars against the encroaching night. The shadows surged forward, but with each memory they spoke, the tendrils of blackness recoiled, pulled away by the incandescent light they forged. "Keep going," Sarah urged, buoyed by the proximity of her family, their spirits rising higher with every shared memory. "What else? What else do we stand for?" "Family," Mia said with fierce clarity, eyes blazing. "Our family always had love no matter what happened." "Joy," Luke exclaimed, as if central to the moment, clinging to freedom. "We've made it through hard times. We can do it again." "Yes." Each memory became a shield, a wall against despair. Sarah felt the energy swell in her chest. We are not alone. The shadows screamed in agony, curls of darkness unraveling amidst their cries. "You cannot escape your fears," they hissed, but Sarah held her ground. "We are not defined by fear," Sarah shouted. "We live in love." One monumental wave crashed through the void, the shadows retreating, momentarily daunted by the relentless force of family unity. But the battle was far from over. "Face what's truly haunted you," the figure snarled. It surged forward like a beast backed into a corner. "Let's finish this." Sarah breathed deeply, reaching into her past and pulling forth those emotions she had buried. The fear of failing as a mother, the guilt of moments missed, the pain of loss. We will face this darkness together. Just as she found her focus, shadows twisted into a whirlpool, drawing visceral memories from the depth of her soul. A car accident that changed everything, long-held regrets, shattered dreams. It was all there, clawing to be seen. The realization hit her. We've lived in the pain too long. We have to reclaim what's truly ours. "Together," the children echoed, as if amplifying her resolve. And then it happened. They surged forth, memories blasting through the corridor, wrapping their fears in love and laughter. Each recollection sliced through the illusions, fracturing the creature before them, reducing it to dust. In that decisive moment, the shadows retreated. The echo of every anguished scream morphed into melodious laughter, punctuated by the warmth of their shared moments. The shadows faltered, their edges waning, pulling back. From the light of their combined strength, Mia and Luke stood firm, the very embodiment of young resilience. And as the last swath of darkness dissipated, a blinding light enveloped them. In the wake of that unyielding brightness, the haunted hotel faded away, brick and stone dissolving into mist, leaving behind only the sound of distant laughter, echoing in the vastness of an unseen world. Sarah held on to her children tight, the warmth of their bodies grounding her. The shadows that once encircled them dissolved, lost in the weight of their shared love. Behind them, whispering pines crumbled like the ancient lie it had always been, unable to withstand the truth of their connection. As the light grew around them, they could feel the weight lift, the burden of unsaid words and lost moments disintegrating into thin air. They stepped forward, leaving the horror behind. Sarah closed her eyes briefly, inhaling the freshness around her, like the dawn breaking after an unbearable night. "Mom?" Mia said, looking up at her, awe dancing in her eyes as they emerged into a warm expanse of light. "Yes, sweetheart," Sarah replied, her heart swelling with hope. "Are we really free?" Luke asked, refusing to break the connection. "Yes, my loves," Sarah said, their gaze locking tight. "We are free. Together." And hand in hand, they stepped forward into an open expanse, leaving behind the weight of whispering pines and stepping into the life that awaited them, bound in love, redemption, and the endless promise of a new dawn. You need to subscribe now to ensure you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. I want to hear from you. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this heart-stopping ending. And please, instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to experience this thrilling conclusion. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share.